Welcome! We are at a pivotal point in time in the transition towards zero-emission transport. But what is holding us back? What factors play a crucial role in accelerating this transition? And which policies are effective at overcoming these barriers? My name is Rick Albertus, and in this video I will explain the most important factors that play a role in electric vehicle adoption and how to design policies to overcome these barriers. Battery electric vehicles are a good choice for reducing exhaust pipe emissions and improving local air quality. Moreover, electric vehicles have other advantages. They reduce noise, the maintenance costs are lower, and they are cheaper to operate. Despite of all these advantages, electric vehicle adoption has been relatively slow. Research found out that there are three major barriers in their adoption: the high purchase price, limited driving range, and inconvenience in charging. Electric vehicles have a higher purchase price due to the cost of the batteries. They are an estimated 40% of the total price to produce the car. Prices of batteries have come down in recent years with a rate of 15 to 20% annually. This reduction is expected to continue due to increasing efforts on battery research and scale in production. However, car manufacturers have increased the number of batteries in the car to increase driving range and have increased their margins on electric vehicles to match those of gasoline alternatives. It is expected that between 2025 and 2027, electric vehicles will reach sales price parity with the fossil fuel alternatives. Electric vehicles are cheaper to own due to lower fuel and maintenance costs. These are part of the total cost of ownership, which also includes costs as depreciation and insurance. In some cases, over the lifetime of a vehicle, the so-called total cost of ownership for electric vehicles is currently already lower. Yet the adoption of electric vehicles remains rather slow. Many surveys point out that the high purchase cost is the most important barrier. During the purchase decision, future savings are valued up to 3 times as low as the actual monetary value would predict. So how can we design policies to overcome this barrier? When designing purchase incentives, it is therefore important that they have an impact on the direct purchase price. There are 3 main options that can be used by policymakers. Firstly, offer a direct or point of sale grant. Secondly, reduce the value-added tax. Or thirdly, exempt electric vehicles from vehicle purchase taxes. The option that can be used in your country is often dependent on local rules and regulations. Purchase grants are mostly seen in the range of $2,500 to $7,500 US. Although there are some exceptional cases in which the incentives reach up to $15,000. Electric vehicles can then be cheaper when looking at the upfront purchase costs. Other options that are less efficient are so-called post-purchase rebates. These include cashback options or income tax reductions. These are widely used in, for example, the United States. Just as future savings in maintenance and fuel costs, these post-purchase subsidies are valued less than point-of-sale grants. Besides lowering the purchase price of electric vehicles, it is good to combine a purchase incentive with higher taxes or disincentives for gasoline vehicles. Purchase taxes for electric vehicles can be linked to their CO2 emission levels. This provides a direct disincentive to purchase gasoline-driven vehicles and focus on those that are most polluting. A key example is Norway, where electric vehicles do not have to pay value-added tax nor purchase taxes. For heavier gasoline vehicles, this purchase tax can be an additional 100% of the original purchase price. This combination has made electric vehicles very popular, with nearly 80% of all new vehicles being electric in 2021. To prevent over-subsidizing, incentives should be dependent on income or on the purchase price of the vehicle. As this image shows, most people who have bought a more expensive Tesla Model S would still buy the vehicle without the tax incentives. However, for the cheaper Nissan Leaf, a substantial portion would shy away from the purchase. A rebate on the Nissan Leaf would lead to a relatively higher reduction in purchase price than for the Tesla Model S. To promote more electric vehicles for the lower end of the price segment, policymakers can decide to cap the incentive at a certain price point. Currently, caps are around 40 to 50,000 US dollars. Besides the higher purchase price, limited driving range and charging inconvenience are two hurdles to overcome. These can be mostly overcome with sufficient charging infrastructure. Due to the relative long refueling times, charging is mostly done at places where cars park. These are at home, at which 60% of all charging takes place, 20% of all charging is done at work, and at other public places such as shopping malls, they account for about 10%. Fast charging at highways is needed to accommodate for long distance travel, but only account for a small portion of the actual charging events. Policymakers can promote installation of fast charging stations by providing subsidies, offering spots along highways at low or no cost, and ensuring sufficient capacity of the electricity grid. Availability of fast charging takes away range anxiety. Yet, in practice, home charging is the most dominant charging mode. For those living in cities and relying on on-street parking or living in multi-unit dwellings without a private charging plot, a substitute for home charging is the most prominent barrier. Policymakers therefore should ensure enough public charging stations close to the homes of potential electric vehicle drivers. A good example is the city of Amsterdam, where 80% of the inhabitants don't have a private charging spot. The city has installed more than 4,000 charging points on street, which ensured a swift transition for all its inhabitants. To wrap up, this lecture has provided us with some insight on how to design financial incentives to stimulate the sales of electric vehicles. Financial incentives can help to overcome one of the major barriers in electric vehicle adoption, the high purchase price. Providing sufficient charging infrastructure, especially in urban areas, should also be part of your policies to incentivize electric vehicle adoptions. These are the major policy options to promote electric vehicles. Thank you for listening.